All right, so today we're going to be going over week 2 NFL picks. I didn't do any picks last week because I was just focused on watching football week 1. But anyways, I'm going to be doing picks this week and all the weeks remaining in the NFL season. I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you do, make sure to subscribe because I'll be doing this every week, like I said. This week I'm gonna kind of go over like a synopsis of the games that teams played. I'm not gonna I'll do that just for this week, but from now on, it's going to be just the picks. So this video might be a little longer than usual. And I just want you to know, I am recording this on Wednesday, September 13th, but this video might come out on like Saturday or something because I'm slow at editing. So yeah, I'm recording this Wednesday at 5:34 p.m. So just take my word for it. I promise I'm not cheating. I just happen to be slow at editing. Also, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because I don't want this to be a 20-minute video about picks. So I'm going to try to keep these videos 5 minutes or less. So yeah, anyways, if you like this kind of content, this kind of NFL content, make sure to like the video and also subscribe so that you can see all of it and see how terrible and awful my picks are going to be. But without any further ado, let's get into it. First up, we've got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that the Minnesota Vikings played pretty badly on Sunday. They played against the Buccaneers, who really surprised me. But yeah, Kirk Cousins played pretty terribly. They didn't target Justin Jefferson at all in the second half. That was kind of a mistake. He had a great game up until the second half. Eagles, they played not great last week against the Patriots. I think that they're going to play a lot better this week. So this game, I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. Next up, we've got the Ravens versus the Bengals. The Ravens have a very stacked roster, and the Bengals played really bad last week, and I think that the Bengals are going to bounce back in a big way. The Ravens didn't play great either last week, but they still ended up putting 25 points up on the Houston Texans. So I think that this is going to be a really good offensive battle. There are probably 35 plus points for both of these teams. I think that the Bengals will come out with a dub. Joe Burrow had an awful game, and I think that he's going to bounce back in a big way. Next up, we got the Seahawks versus the Lions. For some reason, I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win. I think that the Seahawks passing offense will overwhelm the Lions secondary. And I think that the Seahawks defense will do a decent job holding and stopping the run game for the Lions. And I think that they'll hold the passing game pretty well. I'm going to pick the Seahawks to upset the Lions at home. Seahawks played absolutely terrible this week, and I think that they're also going to bounce back in a big way. Next up, we've got the Colts versus the Texans. I think that the Colts are going to win this just because Anthony Richardson and them played a really good game this week, and the Texans are they're figuring it out. This is a season of trial and error for the Texans, but I think that the Colts will take this. This is going to be a pretty close game, though, I feel like, but I think the Colts will outweigh the Texans just a little bit. Next up, we got the Bears versus the Buccaneers. Now, unlike all the rest of the teams, the Bears are not going to bounce back this week. They played terrible, and they're still going to be terrible. The Buccaneers are going to take this game. They're playing at home. Baker Mayfield had a career game. I don't think he'll have as good of a game, but I think that the Bears secondary will get absolutely cooked by the Buccaneers receivers. And yeah, I just think that the Buccaneers are going to win this game. Next up, we got the Chiefs versus the Jaguars. This is probably going to be the game of the week. I'm picking the Jaguars. I think that the Jaguars' passing offense is going to overwhelm the Chiefs' defense. And I think that the Jaguars will do a decent job of stopping the high-powered Chiefs offense. Don't know if Travis Kelce's going to play, but we'll find that out as the week progresses. But I do think the Jags are going to get this win. They're playing at home. Their crowd's going to be insane. And I don't know, I just feel like their offense is going to overpower the Chiefs' secondary and defense as a whole. And I don't think the Chiefs will be able to keep up. So I'm taking the Jags for this one. Next up, we got the Packers versus the Falcons. This is a kind of an interesting one. The Falcons, they have a good defense. I feel like their defense is definitely a top 10 group in the league. Packers played a really good game this past week. I watched the whole game because the Packers are my team. I think that this will be a closer game. I think that Jordan Love will be a little more stressed in the pocket this week because they do have names like Grady Jarrett and A.J. Terrell Jr. Not A.J. Terrell. Is that his name? I don't actually know. Let me check real quick. And they do have players like Grady Jarrett and AJ Terrell to kind of hold down the Packers offense. I think that Jordan Love will be a little more flustered this week. I think this will be a lot closer game than the Packers versus the Bears. And the Falcons played a pretty good game last week, but Desmond Ridder did kind of get flustered on third down, so I think that the Packers defense will be able to overpower the Falcons offense. So I'm going to say that the Packers will take this game. Next up, we got the Raiders versus the Bills. Bills are playing at home. I got to take the Bills. The Bills had an awful game this week. The worst start that they could have asked for to the season. Josh Allen threw 3 picks, and he fumbled it once. He committed 4 turnovers, and it was all on him, pretty much. And he spoke in the press conference, said, yeah, it's my fault. I got to do better, and I think that he will this week. I think that he'll bounce back in the biggest way that we've seen him do before, and I think that the Bills at home crowd, I think that they will overpower the Raiders defense, and I don't think that the Bills defense will even give up a touchdown. I'll say that much. Huh? Oh, okay. And then we got the Chargers versus the Titans. I think that the Chargers will win this game. Even though the Titans are at home, the Chargers passing game is ridiculous. And if they can get the run game going, it's over pretty much. Titans, I think, will have a struggle passing the ball with the Chargers secondary. The Chargers secondary did not play well this week. Their defense as a whole really didn't play well at all. But they were going up against the Miami Dolphins, who, in my opinion, have the highest powered offense in the AFC. I'll say that much. So I think the Chargers will take this one. I think that the Titans defense will have a tough time. As long as the Chargers can protect Justin Herbert long enough to throw those deep passes and mid-route passes, because the Titans defensive line is good. So I'm going to take the Chargers for this one, though. Next up, we got the 49ers versus the Rams. I'm taking the 49ers. 49ers, even though they have a history of not winning against the Rams, I'm going to, at least the past couple seasons, I'm going to pick the 49ers. They have the highest powered offense in football, and I don't think that the Rams defense is going to be able to counter that at all. And I definitely don't think that the Rams will have as good of a performance against the Seahawks or against the 49ers as they did the Seahawks. So I'm going to take the 49ers. Giants versus Cardinals. I think that the Giants will play better than they did against the Cowboys. It's going to be hard for them to play worse than that, but I'm going to actually take the Cardinals here. The Cardinals put together a good game, even though Sam Howell did kind of give them the ball a couple times. They shouldn't have been in that game as much as they were against the Commanders, but I think that they'll play a good game, and I think that the Cardinals will end up beating the Giants at home. They've got home field advantage, and I think that the defense will overwhelm Daniel Jones a little bit. So I'm taking the Cardinals for this one. Upset of the week. Jets versus Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys. Zach Wilson is not going to handle the Cowboys' pressure well. Cowboys are going to have a field day against the Jets' awful offensive line. We've seen how bad it is already. 4th snap in, Aaron Rodgers had a season-ending Achilles injury. Their offensive line is absolute garbage, and the Cowboys front 7 is going to have an absolute ball against the Jets O-line. So I think that the Cowboys will take this game pretty handedly. I'm picking the Cowboys for this one. Commanders versus Broncos. I'm gonna pick Denver for this one. They're going to be very frustrated after this week's loss, 17-16. This is the second time that they've had this score in the past couple of years. It was last year or 2 years ago they had the same score against the Seahawks. So I'm actually going to take the Broncos for this one. They're going to be hungry this week for that win, and I don't think that the Commanders will be able to get a lot going on offense in the passing game. I think they'll be able to run the ball pretty well, but I think that the Broncos will do a good job of shutting them down, and I think the Broncos will also do a good job moving the ball. So I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Next up, we got the Dolphins at the Patriots. Now, the Patriots surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. In my tier list video, I put them as one of the worst teams in the league, and they played fairly well against the Eagles. Now, the Eagles played not good. They did not play well at all. But I think that the Patriots will do a little bit worse than last week because the Dolphins' offense is. I feel like the Dolphins' offense is better than. It's more electric than the Eagles, at least as of now. So I'm gonna put the Dolphins over the Patriots for this one. I don't think the Patriots will have an easy time stopping the Dolphins. And I don't think that they'll be able to get a lot going against that defense. So I'm taking the Dolphins. Next up, we've got the Saints versus the Panthers. This is a tough one. I have debated this one a lot because this game could really go either way. I think that the Saints will win this one, but not by a lot. I think that the Panthers' offense is good. I think that they're going to struggle to get going against the Saints' front seven, but I think that they're going to really piece it together at the end of the game. And I think that the Saints will have a decent game. This will be kind of a slugfest. Not too high scoring of a game, I don't think. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. But I will have the Saints taking this one. They had kind of an off game week 1, but they played well enough to get the dub, and I think that they'll do the same for week 2. And last but not least, we got the Browns versus Steelers. Steelers played awfully last week. I think that they'll play better this week, but I don't think they'll beat the Browns. The Browns are a good team. They're a good team. And I'm not just saying that because they had a good week 1. I think that they'll be a legit good team. And they've got an insane run game. If they can protect Deshaun Watson from TJ Watt, and I think that'll do a decent job of evading TJ Watt, Deshaun Watson that is. And I think that they'll beat the Steelers, not by a whole bunch, probably by like 10 points maybe. So I'm gonna predict that this game will probably have 45 points scored in total. I'll also do the points at the end, but I will say that the Browns are gonna win this. Steelers have a good team, but I think that the Browns are gonna do a little bit better, especially defensively. Kenny Pickett's gonna have a hard time throwing the ball with that defensive line. And that will do it for this week's picks. If you like this video, like I said, make sure to hit a thumbs up on the video and just subscribe so that you can know when I do this again. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for week 3, and yeah, just come check in, see how bad I did. Peace. And guys, I'm also open to suggestions. Whatever you think I should touch more on or touch less on, definitely leave that in the comments below. I'm trying to learn throughout this whole process, so definitely give me some feedback.